It was supposed to be a quiet afternoon on Route 46. The roar of motorcycle engines echoed across the highway as a group of leather-clad bikers pulled over at a dusty roadside diner. But before anyone could even turn off their engines, a small barefoot girl, no older than 6, came running out from the trees, tears streaking down her dirty face. She stumbled, fell to her knees, then looked up at the men towering over her. Please," she gasped, clutching her torn dress. "They're hurting my mama. Please, someone help her." The leader of the bikers, a gruff man with scars on his arms and a past he didn't talk about, stared at the trembling child. The entire group froze. For a few seconds, the only sound was the idle rumble of their engines and the child's sobbing breath. Then the leader's voice broke the silence, "Show us where." And as the girl pointed toward a small cabin down the dirt path, none of them knew their lives were about to change forever. The sun was dipping low when the bikers followed the little girl through the winding dirt trail. The air was heavy, filled with the scent of pine and something else, something sharp, like fear. Her name was Mia. She didn't say much at first, just that her mama was in trouble. The men exchanged wary glances. People didn't exactly trust bikers. They were used to the stares, the whispers, the suspicion. But this time, it didn't matter what anyone thought. As they reached the edge of the woods, the sound of shouting pierced the air. A man's voice, loud and cruel. Then came the muffled cries of a woman. "Stay back," said the leader, Hawk, as he parked his bike and nodded to 2 of his brothers. They crept forward, instincts sharpened by years on the road and by darker memories from their own pasts. Inside the cabin, through a cracked window, they saw her, a young woman cornered against the wall, her lip bleeding, her husband towering over her, belt in hand. Mia's tiny fingers clutched Hawk's arm. "That's my mama." Something inside him broke. He remembered his own mother, her bruised arms, her silent tears before she disappeared when he was a boy. He'd vowed long ago that if he ever saw a man raise his hand to a woman again, he wouldn't walk away. Hawk kicked the door open. "What the hell?" the man barked, but before he could finish, Hawk grabbed him by the collar and slammed him against the wall. The rest of the bikers poured in like a storm, silent, fierce, and unrelenting. "Touch her again," Hawk growled, "and you won't have hands left to raise." The abuser tried to fight, but he was no match. Within moments, he was thrown outside, humiliated, his arrogance crumbling under the weight of the men he called thugs. Inside, Mia ran to her mother, sobbing. The woman, shaking and bruised, held her daughter close, whispering thanks through trembling lips. When the police arrived, called by one of the locals, the bikers didn't wait for thanks. They stood behind Hawk, silent protectors. The officers recognized the man, known for trouble. But they also eyed the bikers suspiciously. "Who are you people?" one cop asked. "Just travelers," Hawk replied, putting his helmet back on. "But that little girl, she's safe now. That's all that matters." As they rode away, the sound of engines faded into the wind, but in that small town, the story of what they did spread like wildfire. A few weeks passed. Mia and her mother, her name was Elena, had moved into a small rental apartment near town. She was trying to start over, working at the local diner. The bruises had faded, but the fear lingered, until one evening, she looked up from the counter and saw them again. The same group of bikers walked in, filling the room with the low hum of confidence and power. For a moment, everyone in the diner went silent. People still whispered about them, some feared them, others called them heroes. Elena froze behind the counter. Hawk removed his sunglasses, his sharp eyes softening when he saw her. "Mia still like chocolate milkshakes?" he asked quietly. Elena smiled for the first time in weeks. "She talks about you every day." From the back booth, Mia jumped off her chair and ran straight into Hawk's arms. "You came back," she squealed. Hawk lifted her up, something like warmth breaking through his rough exterior. "Told you, kid. We don't leave our own behind." That night, they all sat together, the bikers, Elena, and Mia, talking and laughing. Hawk found out that Elena had dreams once. She'd wanted to open a small bakery but had given up after years of abuse and struggle. When the bikers left the diner that night, Hawk stayed behind for a moment, placing an envelope on the table. Elena tried to refuse, but he simply said, "It's not charity, it's a start." Inside was enough money for her to rent a small storefront and buy baking supplies. The next month, Mia's sweet haven opened, named by the little girl who had once run through the woods crying for help. The first day the shop opened, a familiar sound filled the street, the roar of motorcycles pulling up outside. The same gang, but this time they weren't feared. They were celebrated. Locals waved, smiled, and offered free coffee. Hawk walked in, nodded at Elena, and said, "Looks like you made it." Tears welled in her eyes. "No, we made it." Mia ran out from the counter, holding a cupcake with shaky little hands. "I made this for you, Mr. Hawk." He crouched, took the cupcake, and smiled. "Guess I'll have to stop calling myself a tough guy now." The bikers laughed, the sun setting behind them, casting long golden light over the shop windows, and as they rode away one last time, Elena whispered to her daughter, "Remember, Mia, never judge a heart by the jacket it wears." Not all heroes wear uniforms, some wear leather, some ride through storms, and some stop, just in time, to change a little girl's life forever, because sometimes, the toughest people are the ones who protect, not destroy.